look, anybody who says now they know exactly what's going to happen has been proven wrong, right? Because we're way through the looking glass now. I mean, no one ever expected any of this. So if you sit here and say, well, absolutely X, Y, Z, I could be proven entirely wrong tomorrow. So with that caveat, I don't think there's much chance they're even having this conversation. Here's why. Let's say that I'm Donald Trump and I'm thinking about Joe Matthew for position X. Kayleigh, what do you think about Joe? What do you think about Joe? He's a good guy. What do you hear about him? Okay. If he's asking those questions of somebody that he hasn't hired yet, it means he's thinking about hiring them. If he's asking similar questions, Kayleigh, what do you think about Joe? What kind of a job is he doing? What are you hearing? And he's already hired that person. That means he's thinking about firing that person. Okay, that's how the dynamic works.
Wow. Sure.
I've not heard any of that out of the Trump team right now. Trump is not asking people what do they think about JD Vance. How's he doing? I do have some questions about whether or not the vetting team knew about these things that we're now hearing about,
like the childless cat lady thing.
Exactly. Did they hear about that? And listen, there's a pretty good chance they did. They got a pretty good social media team, and they probably just didn't care. Again, JD was a selection born of supreme confidence. They thought they were going to win. They still think they're going to win, and they just wanted somebody that Trump likes to work with. And they didn't want to worry about any of the dynamics of picking up states or demographics. It's the only person, remember, that he can't fire after the election. Cabinet secretaries, chiefs of staff, whatever you can get rid of. You can't get rid of your VP. Yeah. So they took him because they liked him, and they still think they do. So, look, he could get fired tomorrow. I get it, but I'm just not hearing it.
Well, so what's your view on the way this race has changed? Don Levy from Siena was on with us earlier, telling a remarkable story about momentum in the polls. It's been a game changer, certainly coming even with Donald Trump here in the states that matter. $200 million in a week, getting enormous amounts of free media. Should Donald Trump be more worried than he was a week ago?
More worried. I think if he was going to waltz into the White House against Joe Biden.
So how do you describe it now? Is it still his to lose?
I think I went from an 80-20 kind of race to a 52-48 kind of race. Keep in mind, and there's an axiom in this business that you're never really more popular than the day you announce you're running for office, and it's all downhill after that. In fact, that happened to Kamala Harris back in 2020. She had that fabulous rollout. Where was it, Oakland or San Francisco? I can't remember. And I remember watching her on TV, going, "Those are Trump-type rallies. That's a tremendous rollout for a campaign." This is when she was running for president. And then 6 weeks later, she's gone before Iowa even opened up. So you're never more popular than you are in day one. You expect a bounce. Look, I give the Democrats credit. I never expected them to get their act together this quickly. I was sort of, buying popcorn and getting ready to hunker down in front of the Democrat National Convention and just watching the fireworks, thinking it was going to be a wide open sort of rodeo. It's not. And you give them credit. They have done better than I think a lot of folks, including some Democrats, expected them to do. But this race is far from over. And I think you're going to hear a lot of things about Kamala Harris from Republicans over the next 99 days.
Well, so as we think about the excitement her candidacy seems to have generated, to Joe's point, a big part of this is money. The Kamala Harris campaign has raised more than $200 million. A lot of that from first-time small-dollar donors. We aren't necessarily hearing much fundraising news out of the Trump campaign to counter that. And I just wonder how you think about the cash part of the equation here and the ability to spend money in the states that matter.
Yeah, look, it's no question about it. It's absolutely critical. It's probably more critical down ballot than it is for anything else. But at the end of the day, I mean, look, Trump had a great news cycle, I think, the last time they put out numbers, how he outraised Biden. Kamala Harris has had a good number this time. Both of these teams are going to have enough money to do everything that they want to do. Now, down ballot's a different story. So if you're Hakeem Jeffries or you're Michael Johnson, you're fighting it, slugging it out for every single seat in the House for majority down there. If there's enough money is a question that still remains. But at the top of the ticket, they're going to have enough dough to do what they want. And keep on, you never know, is money that comes in today money that was going to come in tomorrow, or is it really new money? Is it just money that came in earlier? Was it money that was held back last time? There's all sorts of variables when it comes to money raising. But listen, no one's going poor in this race, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure. I don't know if the campaign cares at all who Kamala Harris is going to run with. I suspect that there's some consideration there. But if you take the red hat off for a minute, who do you think Kamala Harris, if it's down to this three, does she go with somebody like a Rust Belt governor? Does it need to be a swing state? Why are we talking about governor of Minnesota, for instance?
You fall back on the basics, right? On how you usually pick a vice president. You pick a vice president based upon a need for your campaign.
Yes.
Is it money, which is why Reagan took Bush? Is it expertise, which is why Dukakis took Benson? Is it a swing state, which is why Romney took Ryan. Didn't work out that well, but that was the pick. I think you're back in that world right
Swing
now.
state.
That's a swing state type of thing.
So Shapiro then, right?
So, well, no, because you've got, what are the swing states?
Yeah.
Shapiro's on the list.
Well, you could do Kelly in
Cooper,
Arizona.
Kelly
in Arizona, Whitmer in Michigan, Walz in Minnesota is a state they'd love to lock up. No question about it. And if they really
so
think
there
they're
is
weak,
a geographic advantage to Walz in Minnesota.
absolutely, much more so, say, than Cooper in North Carolina, who I really don't think the Democrats think they can win, and Bashir, who's a very talented guy, a Democrat who won in a red state, whose name has sort of fallen off the map already, because it's not a swing state. So I think that's where they're looking at.